Welcome to the Restoration Revolution podcast, where we help restore hope and put your family on the road to recovery, one episode at a time. Here's your host and owner of Hazard Clean Restoration, Chad Mallonee.
Ever wondered how fire damage restoration changes with the scale of the blaze? Join us as we chat with the founder of Hazard Clean Restoration. Welcome back, everyone. This is Garfield Bourne, co-host / producer, back in the studio with Chad Mallonee. Chad, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good, Garfield. It's been a great day so far. Looking forward to it.
So, Chad, how do you approach fire damage restoration differently based on the severity of the damage?
Great question. It really has to do with not just the severity, but also the type of fire. So, the severity of the damage, you have to think it really goes from just your basic small fire with not a lot of property damage, structural damage and everything, to what we typically think of when we think of fires, of the building burning and the firefighter trying to fight it from the outside, and then the structural damage and everything. And so everything in between, every fire job really is unique because the fire has its own kind of life. It follows its own little path, and depending on what's there, depends on how hot it is, how much smoke it produces, the type of smoke that it's producing. So every fire project is unique.
Well, let's talk a little bit about approach. Okay, now you talked about big fires, small fires. How does your approach change when dealing with minor smoke damages versus extensive structural damage?
Well, so if you're working with just a minor, something that's like a minor fire, and it just had a little bit of smoke and everything, when you're doing your assessment and everything, you're really looking at, it's going to be a lot of cleaning, some odor treatments and everything are going to be necessary. But if it didn't go throughout the whole structure, and the smoke wasn't throughout the whole structure, the property, and it was really isolated to one area, it makes it a lot more simpler to for the cleanup and the odor treatments and everything to clean it up.
And the structural damage, how would you approach that?
So on small fires, typically you're not going to have a lot of structural damage. If you have say something that was up against a wall that caught fire and it affected that wall, then obviously we need to look inside that wall, into the wall cavity, and to look for any electrical issues, any plumbing issues, any structural issues. As the fire gets more intense and it turns into a large scale fire, that's when you're going to really look at a lot of structural issues. Make sure, first off, it's safe for for the restoration company to even start the project.
Do you oftentimes have to bring in a contractor, or you handle everything in-house?
So with large, for like, if you're worried about structural issues, then we bring in a lot of different partners. And so you're going to bring in some engineers to make sure that the structure itself is safe. You may bring in some specialized contractors as well. We may bring in some others that are really there to make sure that everything is being done by protocol, and they're called IHs. And so we could bring them in, and we want to make sure that depending on the project, we have the right person at the right time, making sure we're making a difference for our clients.
Let's talk about client communications for a minute. How do you explain the differences in your restoration approach to clients who might not understand the impact of the severity?
So one, it's making sure that you're understanding where that client is. That's important. That's not going in and just talking about all the damage and everything all at once. Fires can be very detrimental on, a business owner or a family, because if you think of most people's homes that don't have 2 and 3 and 4 homes, everything they own and saved is that in that home. You're talking pictures, you're talking everything, their clothing, their valuables. And so when you have a fire that's ravaged through and really created a lot of destruction very, very fast, it's a shock for the family. They're in that state of shock. And so first, we just want to be there to help support them in the beginning. And then as, the project moves forward, we always communicate on, what to expect, what the next steps are, what we're seeing. We stay in constant communication with them. And then as, if there's things that come up through the project, then, they're obviously the first to know on that. So that way they're aware of all the steps and the stages.
I guess we need to stay away from fire, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Completely agree.
Listen, this is a lot of good things on fire damage restoration. Love it, Chad. You have an amazing rest of the day. We'll see you on the next episode.
Thanks, Garfield. Bye, everyone.
Thanks for listening to the Restoration Revolution podcast, where recovery starts here. Let us help put your family on the road to recovery. Go to hazardclean.net or call 772-259-5018. That's 772-259-5018.